Bumps in the road. I mean, yeah, bumps in the road are a given, whatever your area is, whatever your field is, whether you're in business, whether you're in sports, whether you're an actor, whether you talk about relationships. I mean, there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be bumps in the road. And I think it's your ability to deal with those bumps that ultimately is going to dictate whether you're successful or not. Are you going to let these setbacks depress you and finish you off? Or are you going to treat them as what they are, learning experiences, and move forward? I mean, I've always been good with setbacks. Probably didn't understand why at the time, but if I try and analyze it and look back now, one thing is I've got a lack of ego with this kind of stuff. For people who don't know me, that may be hard to believe because, I guess if you see me living a flash life or doing nice things or, running businesses, etc., it's very easy to think that I've probably got a big ego, but I honestly don't think I have. I'm the first person to put my hands up to say I've made a mistake. I'm the first person to say that I don't know something and I want to learn something. And I think that, that really helps me in life in general, but certainly when it comes to setbacks, because, for example, when I was made bankrupt in 2008, you look back to the kind of 6 months before, I was living a flash life, driving Ferraris and Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces. And then overnight, I lost them all. And I think for many people, that would be crippling. I mean, it would almost be suicidal for certain people, but it never really even featured on my radar. I was as happy the day before, or rather happy the day after, without the fancy cars as I was the day before with them, because I knew that ultimately those fancy cars don't make me. Yes, they're fun to have, but I don't need them to validate me in front of other people. So I think, lack of ego, humility, absolutely essential. I always talk about mentors. And again, in my early days, I didn't specifically understand the concept of mentors, but I did like to surround myself with people who knew more than me or were better than me in certain areas. I think mentors are always going to help you in a setback. And having a goal, having a why, having something to drive you forward. Again, 2008, when I went bankrupt and I had to start again, it would have been very easy to find excuses why not to. I always used to say I could have sat on the couch watching Jeremy Kyle or Jerry Springer all day, feeling like a victim. But I never did that because ultimately I had a 1-year-old daughter and I had a wife at the time. My daughter needed food on the table. My wife needed a roof over her head. And I always say that I was never born to be poor. And that was my reason. That was my why to get out of bed in the morning and go and, not worry about these setbacks and go and drive forward. So I think they're key things you need to think about if you're suffering setbacks now, or if you're worried about suffering setbacks in the future. Have humility, have mentors, and have a reason why. What is driving you forward that is going to be so much more important than anything bad that you're feeling right now.